The Toledo Rockets women's basketball team will be the number 12 seed in the NCAA tournament, taking on fifth seeded Iowa State. This is a very interesting matchup. It'll be Saturday in Knoxville, Tennessee. The game time has not been announced yet, but this is what makes it interesting. Iowa State's head coach is Bill Fennelly. He is a long-time coach at Iowa State. He's been there, I believe it's 27 seasons. But before Iowa State, he was Toledo's head basketball coach for women's basketball, and he was very good at Toledo. He was 166 and 53 in 7 seasons at Toledo from 1988 through 1995. He took the Rockets to 3 NCAA tournaments and 3 women's NIT appearances in 7 years. They finished second runner-up in the women's NIT in 1990. And they were 2 and 3 in those 3 NCAA tournament appearances. So twice they got to the second round. In all, he had 6 20-win seasons in 7 years at Toledo. He had a 758 winning percentage at Toledo, which is still the best winning percentage of any women's basketball coach in the Mid-American Conference history. Like I said, after Toledo, he moved on to Iowa State, and he has been there ever since. He's been very successful there. So let's look a little bit at Iowa State. They are 22 and 10 overall, 11 and 7 in the Big 12 in the regular season, but then they got on fire in the Big 12 tournament and they defeated Texas in the Big 12 tournament championship game. So they won the Big 12 tournament. Wasn't enough to get them into a top 4 seed, so they're a number 5 seed. So this game is in Knoxville, Tennessee. The winner of this game would play against the winner of Tennessee, and Tennessee's most likely to be the winner in their game, but they are playing St. Louis. St. Louis is only 17 and 17 on the season, but they won their conference tournament, so they are in as a 13 seed, taking on the number 4 seed Tennessee, who's 23 and 11. So the little bracket there in Knoxville has, of course, like we said, the fifth seeded Iowa State against 12th seeded Toledo, and then 4th seeded Tennessee against 13th seeded St. Louis. So this is interesting for Toledo. I think this is definitely a winnable game for them. Iowa State is playing really well right now. So, no doubt about that. I think I said they were 22 and 10. I actually meant to say they were 22 and 9. So I apologize for that. They are 22 and 9. But, yes, they've gotten hot late in the year. They won the Big 12 tournament. But this is a team that I think Toledo can match up against and play a good game against. And if they can get that victory, it'll be interesting. It'll be Toledo against Tennessee, most likely, assuming Tennessee beats St. Louis in the second round. So that's kind of that whole UT versus UT thing, which is kind of interesting. But let's go back, look at Iowa State. So, we already talked about Bill Fennelly being the head coach there. This is a game that Toledo can definitely win. You look at Toledo, look at what happened in the MAC tournament in the championship game against Bowling Green. And it wasn't just Quenisha Lockett, but, she makes the team so good. She comes through in the clutch when you need it. And then you look at all the other players on the team that do well, right? Nan Garcia comes off the bench and has been just so good, right? Cook played great in the game against Bowling Green. Cook and Garcia is the two bigger, girls on the team, right? Playing down low. They really gave Bowling Green a lot of trouble in this game. Cook scored a lot. I can't remember exactly how many points it was, but if she can play like that against Iowa State and Nan Garcia can come off the bench, and like Jada Jensen had a good game coming off the bench. She's been playing well coming off the bench. And, you look at some of the other players, some of the other starters on this team that play so well. They really have a good chance against Iowa State and could make it to the second round. And then that would be a very interesting and tough matchup against Tennessee. But again, this is a winnable game. 12 seed is a pretty good seed. There was a lot of talk before that Toledo was probably going to be around 13 seed, maybe even 14 seed. So a lot of respect getting the 12th seed, 28-4, 16 game winning streak at this point. They won 16 games straight. They beat Michigan, who I believe Michigan is a 5 seed, if I am not mistaken. Let me look back at the brackets here really quick. Yeah, okay. So Michigan is a 6 seed. They're in Greenville, number 2 region, so not in the same region as Toledo, but they're a number 6 seed, 22-9. They're playing against UNLV. That's going to be a very interesting matchup for them. UNLV is very good, 31-2. They've been, it's a great year for UNLV, no doubt about it. But so you got Michigan, right? Team that Toledo beat. I know Bowling Green did not make the NCAA tournament for women's. They probably should have, but Toledo beat them 2 out of 3 times they played them. They are going to be a strong team in the women's NIT, tough team to beat. And then, Toledo beat Ball State, and both times they played them. And again, that was another good, solid team. So, Toledo has shown that they can beat good teams. They played Penn State really tough. I know Penn State didn't have quite as good of a year this year, but it was a game that went down to the end, losing by I think it was 1 point or 2 points. Toledo could have very easily won that game. So Toledo shows that they can play with these teams. And Iowa State, I think, is a good matchup for them. And when you look in the NCAA tournament, there's always the upsets of number 12 seeds over number 5 seeds. You see it every year. And this is a good spot, I think, for Toledo to pull off an upset against Iowa State. I don't even think it's going to be that big of an upset. I know Iowa State just won the Big 12 tournament, and they will be favored in this game. But it wouldn't be like a huge upset of like a, 14, 15, 16 seed winning against a 1, 2, or 3 seed, right? So, yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. So, that game's again Saturday in Knoxville, Tennessee. Game time has not been announced yet. And the Rockets will be heading down there. And I think they've got a really good shot to make it into the second round. If they do go to the second round, that game would be Monday, March 20th, against the winner of Tennessee and St. Louis. And again, it would be in Knoxville. So the men will be in the NIT, the men's basketball team. We'll talk about that in an upcoming episode. Talk a little bit about the disappointment of losing in the MAC tournament championship game to Kent State. So we'll talk about that a little bit. I wanted to just, concentrate in this particular episode with the women's basketball team and, talk about that stuff. So we'll talk probably in a day or two here about the men's team and where they're going to be at in the NIT.